those that don't know you. What's your name?
My government name is Michael Hamilton. My Christian rapper name is Peacemaker.
And where did you get Peacemaker from?
Oh yeah, I knew this question was gonna pop up. Peacemaker came up because when I just woke up with it. So for one, I'm one of the called and chosen ones from God. Yes, I have that confidence. And then I start breaking it down. So the ones who know, if you get something and it just naturally over time changes, but to something better. So it started off Peacemaker because Jesus was peace and he's my creator, so Peacemaker. And since I'm an heir, so I hold that name and title. And then now I'm gonna jump forward. That's when I was 16. I got it when I was 16. Now it's like Peacemaker. It's not just a name, it's who I am essentially as a person. Peace. It don't matter in my life through difficulties and all that. This was before anything bad happened. It always been peace. In the worst circumstances, through people, myself, mental breakdowns, etc., it's always been peace. So that name came long before anything happened. So it was kind of like the name got me. It chose me instead. So that's how it happened.
Okay. What got you into music? Like, where did you start?
Oh, it was embedded in me. Like, I don't know why. Music was always around me. It happened. It's like a plastic piano thing that almost not every kid had. Had them little 6 golden buttons, the red buttons. So I started off doing like that, and I remember like I was like 3 years old. I called my grandpa in the room, was like, "Hey, look at this." Now I already had a pattern. I never even heard music because the way my lifestyle was, it wasn't really held around a lot of stuff. I was kind of kept sacred for a little bit because I came back from getting from an adoption home from California. So it started off kind of like, let's get used to the household first. Like, my family members not even see me, so let's get used to this. And so got this piano board, start playing it. Fast forward, I'm in school, had cancer, got on this Mac for whatever reason. I just stumbled upon GarageBand, had cancer, took me out. This Make-A-Wish Foundation asked what you want, asked for an iMac, got on GarageBand. And ever since then it just compelled itself.
Okay, so you had cancer and the Make-A-Wish Foundation gave you an iMac, you got on GarageBand and you started making music. Backing up a little bit, talk to me about the cancer. Like, what was that part of your life like?
Cancer was okay, wait, before anybody get this twisted, my life was kind of crazy. So like, now me, compared to what I've been through, compared to cancer was like light. Cancer was light. Cancer, I'm gonna tell you the process. So my ankle was swollen, I had it in my right leg, and just imagine walking normal one day, and just the next day it was swollen. And so after that, I mean, this is the gap. This is like my grandpa he hate hospitals, and so like he just said it was a spider bite, and he said take some ibuprofen. I forgot what he said, but he was like it's just nothing wrong with you, boy, just go recover. Like, I'm like young, I'm like 11 years old, and so I kept bugging him about it. He took me to this medical center, and they diagnosed me fast. He knew the woman up there because it was my uncle's ex-wife, but we still talk. She's a part of the family. They didn't leave on bad terms, so we talked to her. She got the test back, and it was bone cancer. Quick. At first, they thought I had lymphoma, so they had me there for an extra 10 minutes, and it was bone cancer. It was a level 4 bone cancer, so they had to treat that right away.
Okay, like what kind of, like how long were you in the hospital for your treatment?
7 months.
7 months, shit. And when you get out, like what are you doing? You're right back to GarageBand on your iMac, or?
That is a good question. So when you have cancer, I've noticed, I can't say every type of disease, but when cancer specifically, you either be one way or the other. You either gonna come out liking things. Like, I'm not saying you're just gonna be pure. When I got out, I thought everybody was a Disney character. So like, it's like cancer just don't hit the physical body. It'll come after your soul, spirit. It'll come after what you call for, I don't. It's weird. It just breaks you down. I didn't know my purpose or nothing in life. I said this thing when I was in the hospital. It's like, God, if you get me from this, show me who you are. I didn't even know what a God was. So this is off subject a little bit, but I didn't even know who a God. I didn't even hear about the Bible by this time. So I'm just in the hospital making this prayer. And so, what was the question again? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get back.
Yeah. So you were in the hospital with cancer for.
What I did afterwards. Yeah. So afterwards, after that prayer happened, the first thing that happened, this person popped up at the door and was like, "Yeah, we're doing this thing for church, and yeah, he should come here." And it's like a bounce house, a fun house, trying to, they had like a little barbecue. I only came for the food. Again, I don't know it. I'm not religious. I'm a Christian now, but just want to set that apart. But I don't know what a church means. It's the respect of the church, etc. Y and Z. Even the people that got their own. I heard food and I smelled food. It was literally like a minute up the street, and I always seen this church. I went there. I was like, oh God! I just went for the food. The next time I adventured outside my neighborhood, it was these group of shirtless dudes. Off the rip, you shouldn't approach in the hood. At least in that area, back when I was young, it was dangerous. You shouldn't just go up to a group of shirtless dudes. But like I said before, I viewed everybody as a Disney character. And so what I do, I went to hey, what y'all doing? Y'all playing football? Let me hop in. So I hop over the fence. Their grandma just died from cancer. And so they didn't believe me. Before that, for one, I knew one of them because he went to my school. We didn't really talk much. They ain't gonna house me because for one, like, after that prayer, I don't know if there was a prayer or what. Like, it goes deeper way before, but like that prayer or whatever I said in the hospital, not once, never one time has anybody got the ability to put their hands on me. No negative energy come towards my way. I don't even strike hostility towards anybody, so it's just like this barrier. And so I went there. They just thought what they was doing. Took me to the house. Their mom was like, "Y'all stupid. Can y'all see he had cancer? Look at his hair. Like, y'all know the signs." And so she took me in, and that was a Christian household. So literally right after cancer, no matter where I went or what I did, it was always like this. Now, music part. The music part got implemented on my free time. I mean, I was still in school, of course. And
what were you at high school at this point? Or?
I was in high school, so I missed my whole 8th grade. So I'm just coming in 9th grade.
Okay, so you're at ninth grade at this point. You've beaten cancer. Mm-hmm. You get adopted by this Christian woman. You're still working.
I mean, no. Like this. I still live in my house.
Oh, okay. You were just.
But this woman for 8 months, she said I could stay however long as I need to. I don't know what God put in her soul, but like, in that 8-month period, that's when I was like figuring out myself. Every time in my life, if I have time to just resonate and just breathe, I just go back to what I like. So it's always music. And so over time, I've always been doing music since that. Have I been consistent with it? It adapted a lot. But I mean, it was kind of like free roaming back then. So music, it started off GarageBand. Then when COVID hit, speed up a little bit. 2020 happened. It was like November or something. No, it was March. I can't remember. That's when the stimulus check hit, and I got myself a laptop. The old laptop from Make-A-Wish Foundation. That same family, 3 family members was getting envious because their mom was treating me better than them. For whatever reason, everything, like the food she was eating, it's I want to say it's a black thing. If you know, you know. Like it's certain things a parent do, they exclude their children. I was a part of that, and they never. So they was just envying me. She was taking me on trips. I always had that luxury, and so like all this time, the more character development and self-reflecting and deep thoughts I have, that's how much better my music got. So my music literally went along with my growth of a person as the years went on through all of that.
Has, like, you talk about your faith and stuff a lot. Has that always been a part of your music, like all the way back? Always.
I never really knew. I never had nobody teaching me. It's kind of like a self thing. Like, just like I tell people, I had no parents, no family. I physically have not had one figure in my life. So literally all my bills, cars, the sin, not sin, the even common sense drugs. I did everything because I had to know if I was curious about it and it was itching at my soul, I was gonna do it regardless. Because I had to know. I'd rather mess up 100% to know not to do it no more, and to kill that curiosity in the back of my subconscious, than to just go back and forward with it and just keep thinking back like, why'd I do this, or question it. So always squashed it, always cleared it out regardless. I would say, what was the original question? So I just make sure I'm on track.
Well, I had originally asked you about like
but
the
that question the question you just asked.
Yeah, your faith in your music.
Oh yeah, so on top of that, so I was curious, and so I came across this scripture. Even though I hate reading, y'all. Like, please, these glasses just for aesthetics. I don't wear glasses. I hate reading, like 100%. So the fact that I'm picking up a Bible, something was just calling you. I don't know. Most people are not going to understand what I mean, but like me, things, if it's meant for me, people are not. Even if it's like meeting in person for 5 minutes, being around the area for like an hour, a week, however long, etc. Kind of get the gist. It just calls out to me. And so my faith started out like, this person just gave me a Bible and I just felt obligated to read it. Like any other book, like for one, I skimmed through it and I was like, I was like, but something was like curious about it. I was like, ain't no way. Like something's kicking me about reading this book. And I was like, all right, what I'm doing anyways. I just really asked myself like, what I'm gonna do if I don't read this book. It's like, I mean, I don't got nothing to do till later anyways. It was like a 5-hour gap. Start reading it. And so my music, lyrics, beats, all of that together, and just me enjoying the moment in itself is based off of, if I know myself, apart from anything else, like anything material, even from the clothes I wear to the skin color thing, and myself essentially is my soul. So if I know my soul as much, I mean, it's always a non-stop progression, but like, so it started when that dude gave me that book, and over time I lost that book because I left that house, came across another man, that household, remember that 8 months that lady took me on? Another man gave me a book. I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not reading that. I'm sick of reading. Like, I don't want to read. I avoid books for a reason. Like if it's not like a tense, I don't want to read captions. Like, that's how lazy I was. Like, I don't want to read captions. And so, like, dude was like, you know, I'm gonna learn something. At this point, I had cancer, no parents, no figure over my life. And so I had to take initiative in my own life and to start somewhere. So my faith literally is the foundation of my whole life. Like reading the Bible and was like putting my foot down, was like, this right here will be something that I don't understand. I'm never gonna go against this because it's gotta be something tugging on me. So if something's right, so I'm gonna lay this out. I'm gonna read about it, find out about it, learn more and more about it. And after that, like, people kept coming up to me, and just, it's always been about faith.
Okay. Do you have any sort of like message with your music about your faith?
Oh, symbolism. Only reason I got tattoos, symbolism. Symbolism, always. Parables. Jesus spoke in parables. Jesus, listen, I respect God in such a way because He's holy. I'm not in that way. I'm holy still. I'm set apart. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say the things that He don't want to say. He don't like dumb people. He like. I know I'm looking right here, but like God do not like dumb people. So He spoke. If you just had not even common sense, like if something strikes curiosity could get stricken just because you don't understand it. Like He just said things where like you literally have to go against your own curiosity. Like, can you be curious? It's never not no in between curiosity. It's either you're curious about it or you're not. So like, I was always curious. What was? I'm gonna say something more, but what was the question? So I'll make sure I'm.
Yeah. I asked you if there was any message in your music.
So, along with Jesus, people really didn't understand him, and I like it. He didn't switch, and so I do the same as my Lord and Savior. I put messages and symbols, and like depending on the only reason I bring Jesus up is because depending on your understanding, your spiritual understanding, how deep you are in your understanding, all relies how much will you hear my music on different bases. He said things in parables specifically where you wasn't dumb, but if curious understanding to the bare minimum, at least you understood it. And if you just really got deep with yourself spiritually, like you was outside the physical world and you really just been focusing in on yourself, that's when you're going to understand something simple and just understanding just all of this. So that's what I do with my music. I have to physically, my music now ties in with the Lord. I sit there and have it on repeat for like an hour, like just sitting there and just purifying, making sure it's at its peak. That sound is at its peak. It's like touching the top skyline, and then I sit and listen. So my lyrics specifically now, I could say now strong, is from the Lord in my own way, of course. But so he trusts me with saying certain lyrics. So like, I'm gonna give a good example. This white, my jeans, actually these joggers. So I could make a song about these joggers, the color, how they make me feel. I could keep going. Y'all kind of get where I'm going with this. Like, basically, this could be 100 topics. My shirt could be 100 topics. I'll go off of the song. I listen to the song, and then again, ties in my spirit. So I sit there and I listen, and it's not never he'll tell me what to say, but it's more of like a feeling. I go off the feeling, and then I will actually have physical words to say to the song.
Okay, you earlier you mentioned that a lot of your your music is like very symbolic. What are like some of these like symbols that you like? What are a few of the symbols that you've chosen?
Related to me. Let's start off to the most basic. Excuse me. Let's start with the most basic. So, me and myself, I never in my life wear brand clothes. I mean, Crocs. I mean, they just got blew up, but like I just like the style. So my clothes alone is not a symbol. My neck, yes. So this is life, death, cross. He holds the keys to life and death. I've strictly got that. Again, I'm not gonna go too in detail. Like, depending on your understanding, how much you could take this and you could see a big message and it hit you harder. You could say this and just, symbols. When it comes to my music wise, it's like, okay, not the sounds in particular, just like everything have a reason when it comes to music, in my opinion, at least to me. So when it comes to music, I feel like, what was the original question? Because I'm about to go off. I just want to make sure.
I just asked you like what symbols you've chosen and like what meaning those symbols have.
So when it comes to my music, my songs in general are heavenly. Just like this vibe of just unearthed. Like when you hear my music, you know it's not here. You don't know where it's from. People try to compare me and like mash in different artists. The fact that you have to mash in different artists should already be a sign. But it's not from here. I could take something basic. So it's just eliminate the sound. But like, the sound alone is supposed to just make you feel free, peace, welcome, love. You could just move to it. That's one of me and the symbols. The lyrics. Now the lyrics, when it comes to the lyrics, I say lyrics that hit the soul. The only reason I know it hit the soul because I have to sit there and marinate. Yes, I prayed before, but in the moment when I'm doing that, I don't think about nothing except for that vibe, moment, however you want to call it, and I maximize it. And so when people hear that, depending on the lyric structure, I can't really say right now because we just talking about in general. But my songs, 100% of the time, usually have this, or that. If you know what I'm talking about.
What are those things?
Like just for in general, like I'm thinking about a song right now and encouragement, enlightenment, bright, light.
Okay.
This song, calm, relax, chill, mellow. Kind of like it have its own category of things. It's not really like set apart. They all, if you match them in, they all still match. So
what does your creative process look like? Let's say you want to make something from scratch. You open GarageBand. Like, where do you go?
Oh, well, I'm using Logic though.
Oh, you're in Logic.
I'm using Logic now. I'm sorry, I didn't add that in, but yeah. But
when did you start? When did you switch over to Logic? Obviously, they're pretty similar.
COVID.
Okay.
When they sent that 1200, I brought that Mac, and the Logic was 200. So I forgot if I worked for that 200. I think actually I was working back in Arkansas. Yeah, I worked for that, and I scrapped the 200s. My first, I didn't care about food if I was gonna have enough to my next check. I just thought about Logic, and I got Logic. That's what it started. So back in 2020 is when I very, very first started Logic.
What is the creative process on Logic like then? You open it up, you want to start, like, let's say you want to start a brand new song from scratch, right? What does that look like?
A brand new song from scratch. It's about every moment. Every moment is special. Every second, minute, hour. Not even a week. Let's not think about outside the day. Like, just, I'm gonna welcome you inside my mind. Why I'm so who I am. Every 10 seconds. Let's not go too much in detail. But like every minute have its own special moment. Because that moment, this is getting older. Clothes getting older. It's not at the store. Skin getting older. So every moment. So I take that outside of like time realm. And so like when I'm making music, time don't exist. It's like this own space of dimension and place I got that I just do, and everything that just slows down. But it still is moment. So like, think of a second. A second is one. That's just one until I get done. So I'm living in that. I'm just not break down how I look at things. I don't see like this, but I'm just numbing it down. But like that second is like my second while doing music. So every moment, depending on how special you really take, people that's passionate about something, think about the people that's really passionate about life, their craft, and they just put all their energy. They don't eat. Usually we all got the same side effects. Don't eat. You don't think about to the max. Like I'm talking to maximum capacity. That's what I do in my music creating process. It's just about in that moment you're not thinking about nothing else. That moment is not differ from seconds or moment. And so like whatever happens in that moment, it's like the moment's calling me to be there with it. So I can't really explain. That's the most I can explain it. I can't really elaborate much further on that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You immerse yourself in whatever the moment that music is trying to get you to produce.
Even if it's a blank space, just the feeling. Versus I'm feeling, but whatever's there is already there, and I'm just trying to fill it out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you're trying to
I'm trying to bring it apart
from your mind.
No, not in my mind. It's
or like around.
Imagine it like an asset. No, what's the right word? Like love.
Okay. Love.
So real love is like sacrifice, but it's its own thing though. You get what I'm getting?
Yeah. It's like
so, just like that. So that moment of each music is like its own thing, and so it's up to me to brace in that for that time, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna always be that regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, just for this time, because I'm taking time out. Like, I'm not thinking about the world, so I'm taking basically seconds from my life. So it's basically that 1 second or that moment, however, it's gonna last however long, as long as I don't think about outside things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can kind of like time in the outside world kind of seems to like slip away. Like you don't notice it.
No, it does. 100%. It don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Only way I'm gonna make what I make. 100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess with that's a great segue. Let's jump right into making a beat. Where would you like to begin?
Oh, I gotta get my laptop.
Yeah. All right, bust it out.
I gotta get my.
Yeah.
I gotta fire it up.